Welcome to my debate of the week on Dusty Rhodes. Now, I didn't know that Dusty died until this Sunday at Money in the Bank. I didn't know. For a couple of people who have been wondering what happened to my TNA review, I had some bad problems in the last couple of days. I had a ceiling collapse in my apartment. I'm alright, I didn't get hurt, but I spent days upon days trying to get the superintendent to fix it, and the problem is in my building, you can't always get your hands on the tenants here. A lot of them go out at night or go out during the day, and there were 3 apartments he had to check. So I was constantly kept trying to keep the water from spreading from my apartment and any weird bugs coming through the apartment. You know, water bugs and stuff. And it was very hard for me. And next to my allergies, this is allergy season, I was almost exhausted by the time he finally got the apartment fixed on Friday evening. It was like about 5 to 6 that the apartment was finally fixed. My ceiling was fixed, there was no more leak. And I could clean up my apartment from all the debris. So when I heard Dusty die, and I saw it on the pay-per-view, my heart broke. Because I knew 2 things. One, someone that I loved seeing when I was a little kid is now gone. And 2, the WWE is taking a huge hit in creative. Now, if you guys don't know about Dusty Rhodes, you know that he was a wrestler, but you didn't know that he helped in promoting. He helped to promote different wrestling organizations. He helped promote in the WWE to get new talent, to write for the talent, to make sure everything worked. He's worked in every type of position, so he knows how the business works. And when you looked at the last pay-per-view, when you look at it, Elimination Chamber, that was a Dusty Rhodes ending. 100%. What happened with Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. Unlike this one, which was a straight win for Seth Rollins, the last one wasn't. And you could see 100% that Dusty's hands had to be an influence on that. And that's what I'm worried about with the WWE. Now they got a big problem on their hands. One of the best people you can ever go to for writing and coming up with creative ideas has passed away. Yes, his sons are there, Dustin and Cody, but they're not writers. They're just regular wrestlers unless they have branched out into that and have done what their father has done, thinking about trying to be more of an expanding type of businessman. But when you really come down to it, the wrestling business is now taking a huge hit. Because I'm not saying that Dusty wouldn't have left the WWE maybe to go to TNA. If he had gone to TNA, I believe if Dusty had not stayed with Vince, if he had gone to TNA, I think he would have really helped the product. Now, I don't know if he ever worked for them or not, but when you really look at it, I would have loved, if I could have met Dusty Rhodes, Virgil, in real life, I would have said, Virgil, I love you. You were a great influence on me as a kid. But I see there's a big problem right now. Right now, the wrestling business needs people who know it so well that can help bring it up. The WWE cannot survive as it is. Yeah, it'll keep going, but eventually it's going to need competition to give it something to work with. And NXT is not cutting the bill. Unless NXT is going to break off into its own promotion and let Triple H run it. And if you see my debate of the week on that, I talked about that at length. You need more people who are the older generation who knows how to really make the business work, and you're one of them. I would have told him to go to TNA. Hell, I would have told him to go to fucking ROH. Because we need people who really understand the business, who care more about the business than their own ego, and more than making money for themselves. And I'm not saying he was perfect. He had to try and make money for himself in politics just like everybody else. But he understood a decent balance of it. And we need that. When I look at the WWE right now, from this moment on, from this pay-per-view to this Raw on, I do not see the product being very good. Dusty Rhodes had to give some type of input and some type of influence to the creative team. To Stephanie, who has been causing all the trouble. And I believe it was Fool Killer at one point a while ago, he had talked about Stephanie. It was just something unrelated. And the Sled Daddy did a video on how Stephanie's damaged the wrestling promotion known as the WWE. She has. By wanting to change the business the way she has. She has damaged it. We always have writers who care more about how wrestling works than writers who care more about movies or television shows work. By doing it the way she has, we have diminished the business and the product in general. But one of the few people who understood that, who could pull it back a couple of times and make it an interesting ending or beginning, was Dusty. And now he's gone. That influence is now gone in the WWE. Now without him there, and Stephanie herself said that one of the people she loves to listen to and talk to was Dusty Rhodes. Now with him gone, the product is going to suffer more. Now there's going to be moments where they do a decent job. And maybe moments even little less than that that's going to be beautiful. But you're going to find those moments more and more constricted. And the product in general is going to suffer so badly that it's going to make the product across all promotions look bad. Because when you look at it like this, new people coming into wrestling, the one they go to, the default, will be WWE, no matter how much the marks, the smart marks, the diehard hardcore marks, they're going to go to that. And when they see the product so shitty and garbagey, and then they see another product, there's going to be one or two things. One, they may say, well, I'm going to look at this a little bit for a little while to see what it compared to WWE. And either it's going to be better, or it's going to have things they just don't understand. And it won't entice them. And worse yet, when and if a promotion like a TNA comes up in the second place, you're going to need talent to go from that promotion to WWE. But then, who's going to want to see those talent go to WWE? The WWE is established. It doesn't mean it's great. But that's the one you go to. And you got wonderful people like Kevin Owens, or Kevin Steen, as many people knew him in RH. He's there. He's got a huge following like CM Punk and the Bryan Danielson. These guys have great backgrounds in all the other promotions, but the WWE never talks about them, don't want to. And with the WWE declining the way it is, especially now with Dusty gone, when they go up there, they're going to be destroyed. Generally, that's what happens to a lot of wrestlers, and they go back to the other promotions. But you know what? The reason I brought it up in this respect is that a lot of times wrestlers get very, very jaded going from a promotion that did show them care like ROH or maybe TNA to a certain extent years before, to a WWE where they get treated like total shit and they become so disenfranchised they don't have nothing to do with wrestling ever again. Look at CM Punk. CM Punk, the main reason he left wasn't because he wanted to scratch an itch in doing actual fighting. It was because he got so disenfranchised by wrestling, he doesn't want to have nothing to do with it at all. That's the main reason. He loved wrestling with his heart and soul. He didn't want to leave it. But knowing how the WWE treated him like shit, and mind you, it was half him, half the WWE. That's the truth. His attitude, wanting to be the top dog, knowing full well he's never going to get it, that's partially his fault. But the other part was that the WWE didn't even give him a chance to be the top dog. They never gave him that opportunity to see if he can actually hang there, and if he could or not, would have been left up to the fans. And if he couldn't hang there, then they could throw his ass out. It would have been understandable. But he never even got that chance. So basically speaking, it's a two-way street with them. But let's be honest here. Even with his ego, and he has a considerable one, he is right. The attitude of the WWE is so bad now. Their wrestlers are getting disenfranchised and going off. A lot of them don't always go back to wrestling. They go off and do something else. And if they do go back to wrestling, they're not the same. The way the WWE works their talent is way worse than the other promotions. They lock them into a contract where sometimes they have to work a year and a half, even they have a week or so in between. They kill them compared to other promotions. I said in my, the one who not be named, the very first video I talked about, and I will say my Chris Benoit review, when it won't be named, nobody wants to talk about him. I said one of the reasons why he ended up the way he was because of the scheduling. WWE doesn't give you a light schedule, or at least a decent schedule where you don't fall apart so easily. The WWE does not care about the talent. They drive them until they drop. And then they say, you drop? Well, you better pay for your own mess because we're not going to take care of you. And then worse on top of that, when you do come back, if you even had a spot, it's usually gone. That's if you even had one in the first place. Because they don't even give you a chance to even try anything. You get like baseline of maybe $300,000 to $400,000 a year. Now people will say that's a lot of money, but not for wrestlers who have to travel all the time by train, by bus, by plane most of the time, mainly plane. That's a lot of money they have to spend. So it gets you after a while. And I'm seeing this from the point of view for the future of the WWE. As long as it stays the way it is, wrestling in general is going to suffer. And now with Dusty, going back to him, it's going to get worse. Less writing, less good storylines, less people, less creative, less talent that is going to be happy with the work that the WWE is doing. It's a terrible thing to see. I hope things get better. I hope somehow the WWE learns something while he's left us. And I'm talking about Dusty. And they do turn a leaf. And they do begin to change how they act towards the wrestlers. Change their work on their promos, their storylines, how they treat the talent. But that's just a dream. But this is just my point of view. What's yours? So I hope you enjoyed this debate of the week. Please give me a comment below. Tell me how you feel about Dusty. What are the things you love about him? What are the things that you hated? Do you believe wrestling has now been diminished because of him being gone? Have a good day and have a good night. Peace!